Like bored of the day wearing the makeup kind of, then they're like, makeup.
Yesterday.
And I don't have to nag you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Glad you guys are here to join me today. We're going to use the strap. I think I told you that. I mentioned blocks if you need stability for standing split. I'm going to show you a couple things. One, we're going to be at some point going into this pose here. And when it's time to take a lunge, you're bending the front knee and keeping that back leg extended and dropping your hands beside your foot. So you're landing in lunge. The other thing that you may need blocks for the stability is at some point, we're going to be going from here to standing split. So if you want blocks to meet you on the way down to the floor, or if that helps you, if your hamstrings are tighter, I would grab those. And I think that's all across. Anybody else wants one? So this week I started the Chakra series. I usually do this once a year and I haven't done it in over 2. I was waiting, thought I was waiting until things got somewhat back to normal. That lasted about 2 weeks, and then we're back to where we were. So I decided to go ahead and go with it because the rainbow keeps showing up, or at least it kept showing up for me all last week. And I saw 2 different live ones, and then it kept just, showing up with different things I was reading or looking at. And it dawned on me last week, I'm like, I think this is my sign. I just need to start the series. So each week I'm going to focus on a different one. We'll focus on the main 7. So this week's all about first chakra. And the first chakra concerns our skeletal system, our legs, our feet, our circulation. It's our foundation. It's about our roots. It's about where we come from. It's about, do we feel like we belong here? It's about our safety, our sense of security. It's about our natural primal instincts. It's about our survival skills. And you can look at all that I just mentioned and see how trauma can come about with the first chakra, even at an early age. Say if you're abandoned or you're neglected or not fully supported, if you don't feel safe in your environment, if there's some type of abuse happening in the home. Nature is a good thing to expose yourself to when you're trying to activate or balance the first chakra. I mentioned earthing on Monday, walking around barefoot in the grass and the soil and the sand is a great way to not only reduce inflammation in the body, but connecting your energy back to the energy of the earth, because the earth is the element of the first chakra. This is really the densest, more dense chakra as far as the color representing it is red, and it has a slow wavelength. It has slow movement, and red draws us outward, which is why red is often, well, not often, is the stop sign color. It is when you are going to a signal light, if it's red, it's that warning to stop. So that's red on purpose. With what they know about colors and how they knew this way back when, I don't know. But anyway, since we're focusing on first chakra this week, I wanted to bring up something a little different for today's practice. For today's practice, I thought we would work on balancing postures, because a lot of the balancing postures that we have focus on standing on one leg. And we're more comfortable standing on 2 legs and 2 feet, right? We're more balanced that way. But working with the first chakra, it's learning how to have a balance in life. You know, we can't be all work and no play. I tend to be that way because everything to me is yoga. It drives my family crazy because everything is yoga to me, but I can't get my head out of that. And someone drew a card for me about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and it was all about you need more balance in your life. You need to go out with your girlfriends. You need to go out and have some fun. And so the last 2 weeks, even though I haven't been out with girlfriends, I have been going out to see a few shows because I'm like, live music is here. It's probably not going to last much longer. I'm going to take full advantage of it if I can. So it's about striking a balance, you know, the same strike a balance between movement and stillness, between noise and quietude. So when we're doing balancing poses, know that it's more than about standing on one leg. You know, it's much more metaphorical, much more symbolic than that. So let's start on our backs with first chakra in mind. And obviously, for your low back sake, if you need to bend the knees, that's okay. But try to at least start with the legs extended, pressing out through the heels of the feet so that you're putting a little bit more space in your low back. Fan the feet away from your midline and rest your hands on your stomach. And then after you create that extension through the legs, if your low back is still dissatisfied, absolutely cater to that. Because right now we are trying to get more invested and embedded in our physical structure. So the first chakra is a lot about our physical existence. It's about our physical body and what we do with it. How do we keep it healthy? How do we keep it strong? How do we keep it full of vital life force? How can we find our stability in life? How can we get more grounded within ourselves? So take this moment to ground down into your body. Feel the contact of your body against the earth's surface, against the sticky mat. Say to yourself mentally, I have and hold the right to be here. I have and hold the right to exist and to take up this space. I have and hold the right to have what I need in order to survive. I have and hold the right to take care of my body, my mind, and my spirit. So take some deep breaths in and out through the nose, breathing in a diaphragmatic way so that you can feel the rising and falling of your belly beneath your hands. Consider for a moment, as you're taking these deep sips of breath, where you may need to strike more balance in your life. Perhaps it's between work and play. Perhaps it's between community and solitude. Maybe it's being active versus being passive and relaxed. Being vocal, external versus being more internal, quiet. And then we'll start to open up the lower body, and we're going to do this with the strap. So go ahead and take a hold of your strap. Draw the feet closer together and go ahead and bring the right knee in towards your chest. The strap is going to go around the ball of the right foot. Stay supine on your back as you suspend the leg in the air. As you're holding the ends of the strap, pull gently down on the strap. And notice how that naturally creates the dorsiflexion in your foot. So when you pull gently down on the strap, the heel will jut higher. You'll get a deeper stretch in your calf muscles as well as your hamstrings, but spread your toes. And now push the ball of the foot equally up into the strap. And notice how that fires into the front side of the leg. Create that same action now with your left leg and foot, the one that's stationed on the floor. Continue to take some deep breaths in and out through your nose. And from Pawritta A, take both ends of the strap into your right hand. Take your left hand to hold down your left hip bone. And now splay the leg away from you, sending it towards the right side of the room. Pausing whenever you feel like you're getting ready to tip over to the right. So the foot should hover. Now pull gently on the strap, and then again, equally push the foot into the strap. Notice how it changes up the sensation and the firing of your muscles. Inhale, bring the leg back up overhead. Swap hands to hold the strap. Lay your right arm out to the side and go ahead and twist. Sending the leg over the body. Again, allowing that leg and foot to hover at least a ruler's distance or more away from the ground. Keep your shoulder blades resting. Inhale, bring the leg back up. And exhale, bend the knee and slide your right leg out. When you're ready, draw the left knee in. We're going to do that sequence to the left side. Ascend the leg up in the air. Try to straighten as best you can, but don't feel like you have to lock the knee, okay? So it's okay to have a little soft bend in the knee. Pull gently downward on the strap. Feel that extra pull. And then spread the toes and reach the padding of the foot up into the strap. Activate your right leg. And from Pawritta A, we'll take both ends of the strap into the left hand. Take the right hand down to the right hip bone. Abduct the leg away from your midline. Hover and hold. Hold and breathe. On your next in-breath, let's come back to Pawritta A, long enough to swap hands to hold the strap. Lay your left arm off to the side and cross the leg over your midline. Again, pulling gently on the strap, but also equally pushing the foot into the strap. Take one more breath. When you're ready, inhale, draw it back to center. Exhale, remove the strap. Keep your left leg lifted. We're going to walk the hands up the back side of the leg, scooping in through the belly, and your right heel can stay resting on the floor, or it can hover, but fire into your core. And on the next in-breath, we're going to swap the legs, scoop the belly, and lift higher, head towards the knee or shin. Inhale, swap legs. Exhale, scoop and lift. Inhale, swap. Exhale, scoop and lift. And this is the new flow. One more to each side. Well, stop with the right because we begin with the left. I guess it depends on where you are. And then exhale, hug your knees into your belly and chest. Keep your low back anchored down. Thinking about how important it is to have good roots in order to grow. Even the beautiful lotus has its roots in the muck and in the mud below. I heard someone this morning channeling the energy of what's happening in Afghanistan. She was sensing that the women kind of left behind are actually feeling really strong in their divine feminine power. And obviously there's great concern about it, but she said, you know, she mentioned the lotus. She was like, divine feminine will rise, but there needs to be muck just like the lotus. Gently roll to one side of your body. Go ahead and come on up, and we're gonna come up to stand. When you come up to stand, this is where we're gonna start working with balance. So when we're gonna be flowing with balance today, don't feel like you have to continue to flow if you're completely imbalanced. I would rather you hold the position steadily and just focus on your drishti and just hold it until we move on to the next flowing sequence, okay? So get stationed on your left foot and left leg. Take the weight off your right foot. We're gonna float the arms and the right knee up. And as we exhale, we're gonna lean forward, stepping the right foot back and taking the arms back. Now look down at that front knee. Make sure the knee's aligned over the ankle. Find a firm foundation in your feet, because now we're gonna inhale, lift the arms to crescent, stacking each vertebra on top of the other, and then exhale, dive in, hover over the front thigh, shine out with your heart. Inhale, coming up to crescent. Again, if you need to be stationed here, that's okay. If you can flow, go ahead and dive over. Really weighing the front foot down, especially the mound of the big toe. Coming up again on the inhale. Exhale, hinging forward. To stabilize the knee, we must stabilize the foot. Inhale, coming towards crescent, but then immediately lifting the right knee up to join. Standing and balancing here, finding your drishti points. Exhale, stepping it back. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, dive in, taking the arms out like wings of an airplane. Breathing in and up. Breathing out, hover and hold. Inhale, when you start to come up, we're bringing the right knee with us. Okay, my balance is off today too. Take your time. Use your Uddiyana Bandha. We're going to do that one more time. Stepping it back. Inhale, draw it up. Exhale, hinge it over. Inhale, back to crescent. Exhale, folding. Inhale up. When we come up this time, we're bringing the hands to the hips. Stack on the mound of the big toe on that right side. And then you're going to slowly lift the right leg up. Padangusthasana D. Try to avoid tucking the tailbone. Exhale, skate the foot back. And hinge to Dakasana. Inhale, coming through. Padangusthasana D. Exhale, skate it back. Balance and breathe. Last one. Inhale, coming through. Padangusthasana D. Exhale, hinge. Now we'll step back. Hands will lower down and frame the front foot. Oh, it feels good to be here now. Inhale, float your hips higher. Exhale, sink your hips downward. All right, this is what's called spanda, a little pulsing up and down in this low runner's lunge. One more. All right, since we're focused on legs today, you're gonna feel like it's all about arms in this pose. But we're gonna flatten the palms and we're gonna take the left foot and hover it above the floor into what's called flying plank. Shoulders over wrist, keep your arms strong like columns. If you need to lower your right knee to a tabletop and extend your left leg up and back, that's okay. Rock forward, lower down to a flying chaturanga, keeping that left foot afloat. Then drop the left foot, untuck the right toes, rise into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, and exhale, roll it back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Pause here in your downward facing dog. Notice the primary foundation is the hands, but the feet are part of the foundation too. So root all four of these downward. Elevating your heels, elevating your hips. Taking command over your breath. Knowing you do have the right to be here. You do have the right to feel safe and secure. You do have the right to meet all of your needs. On your next inhalation, I want you to look forward towards your hands. You can mindfully step one foot at a time, or you can bend your knees and hop the feet behind your hands wide to either side of the mat. So the feet are wider than typical. Bend the knees so your hips drop about halfway down. Stack your elbows to your knees. Tailbone shoots back, crown of the head shoots forward. This is called bear pose. In bear pose, the feet are parallel. I have the tendency to let my core just flop, and it's doing it now. So draw the lower and upper halves of the abdominal muscles towards your back body. When you do that, you are supporting your back. You'll feel a little warmth in your core and more shrink wrapped across your low back. One more breath. Notice the bones, maybe getting a little fatigued. Any weight bearing that we do is strengthening for the bones. I can feel that happening here in the legs. Now on your next inhalation, go ahead and straighten the legs out, but we're gonna take the hands over to the right calf, shin, ankle, or foot, whatever you can manage. Now go ahead and crank your whole torso over towards your right leg. That's it. Now lengthen out through your left side waist, specifically your left side waist. Reach out of it. Good. Now equally reach out through your right side waist. Pull the sternum, not with your arms, from the insides. Draw the sternum down and in towards the right shin. Let your head go, but shift your weight forward on your feet so you feel weight not just at your heels, but underneath your toes. This is Pawritta Tanasana. On your next inhalation, lift the head and the heart up away from the right side, and you're just going to cross over to the left. All right, take a hold of the leg, ankle, or foot, and then emphasize your elongation out of your side waist. Pull down and out of the pelvis. Magnetize the sternum lower towards the knee or shin. Equalize the distribution of weight under your feet. Breathe. And bring the legs, take us forward into action.
You can affirm mentally to yourself, nothing and no one on this earth can hold me down or back. On your next in-breath, go ahead and lift up away from that left leg. Bring the hands more towards the center. Heel toe your feet in the direction of each other and fold straight down in half. Uttanasana. So remember, we didn't start off this sentence out with Uttanasana. However, we have warmed up the legs thus far. The belly's coming down towards the thighs, the heart's coming down towards the knees, the forehead's coming down towards the shins, even though they may not even come close to touching. Don't worry about that. On your next in-breath, go ahead and reach the arms to your sides and up overhead. Coming to upward worship. And then exhale, bring hands to current position at the heart. All right, we did a lot of sun salves on Monday. We're not doing as many today, because today's focus is more on balance. So now we're gonna really focus on rooting the right foot, locking in that right leg. Now we get to lift the arms and the left knee like Karate Kid. You're ready, exhale, step it back. Lean the arms back. And this is where we inhale, come up to crescent. Directing the spine over the hips. And then exhale, hinge forward. Continue inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. This time we're inhaling, coming up to stand in that Karate Kid. Exhale, step it back. Continue inhaling up. Exhaling over, stay strong in that front leg, equally balanced in your back foot. Feel free to use that Ujjayi Pranayama. It's so nice being back in a group with you guys with this breath. There's another studio I teach at, they don't know this breath at all. I keep trying. Left knee lifts. I think really it's because they didn't learn it before the pandemic and now they're just too scared to do it, which is sad because it's a really important breath. Exhale, take it back. Inhale, build it up. Exhale, take it down. Continue this process. Notice in order to flow up and down with the upper body, we have to be dependent and secure in what's happening in the lower body when you're ready coming up. Hands to the waist. If you need to take a moment to stand on the big toe, that's fine. Otherwise, Padangusthasana deep. Notice how it strengthens the hip, the quads. Exhale, Tanasana, similar to Warrior 3. Inhaling. I think we only did 2 on the previous side. No, we didn't, we did 3. So let's do 3 here. Up. Now we'll take that low lunge. Oh, what a relief it is. I'm starting to get a cramp in the bottom of my foot. Lift the hips. Exhale, sink them down. Good, continue this pulsation. Since we're focused on lower body, if you want to straighten that front leg instead of keeping it bent, that's okay too. You can be more extreme with it. Your body, your practice. All right, now we're coming into flying plank. Remember, you can modify, if today is that day for you, by bringing the left knee down like table. You can also modify with full plank. Thank you, Barbara, for that. Draw the belly up, push the palms down, engage the upper back. When you're ready, shift forward, lower down, find chaturanga, land the right foot, come to the top of the left. Bring it into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, exhaling to Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So in case you're struggling, remember, this whole thing we're going through from last year and even into this year, and we're almost through with this year, we just have a few more months. It's been pretty brutal on the first chakra. The first chakra is the base for all the others. Think about the chakras as being like a Jacob's ladder, connecting heaven to earth, connecting spirit and matter, connecting the physical to the spiritual. Let your breath be a main part of that portal that builds in that connection. Because you do have the right to be here. You do have the right to act. You do have the right to rewrite your whole programming. Inhale, look forward towards your hands. We're going to bring it back to there. So you can mindfully step one foot at a time, or you can bounce the feet forward. But the torso becomes more parallel to the earth. And then draw that belly in to help to secure and stabilize your low back. Three more breaths. Gratitude for the legs that allow us to dance, to take that hike to the trail and the trees. Takes us from one place to another. And then slowly straighten out the legs. Fold over. And we're going to go back to Pawritta Tanasana. So we're going to shift the upper body over towards the right leg. But we're going to elongate the side waist. We're going to elongate the shaft of the spine. And we're going to bring the heart lower, the head lower. Something to meditate on. Keep that Ujjayi breath flowing. It can be softer, like a whisper. And then go ahead and shift over to the left side. And we're not just leaning that direction, there's more work to be done. So focus from your pelvis and draw out of it. Lengthening downward towards gravity. As if we were going to bury our head in the mud. Now gently swing back to center. You can stack on your hands or blocks. We're going to heel toe the feet over, closer together. Now taking Uttanasana at the end of this Surya Namaskara. Affirming as you hold, I am safe, I am sound, and good things will come to me. Inhale, let's bring the arms to the sides and up over, head to upward version. And exhale, bring the hands to current position at the hearts. All right. This is where we're going to start the other balance and flows. If you feel like you need the blocks for stability, have them in front of your feet. And you may want to step back on your mat. If your mat's really squishy, you may want to step off your mat for balance. We're going to bring the hands to prayer. And we're going to lower down like chair. Yep. We're going to float the right ankle up, cross it over the left knee, and sit down and back a little deeper. Gaze at one spot on the floor. Feel any tension in your face or mouth. Left hand transfers to the weights. The first two fingers of the right hand loop around the right big toe. When you're ready, we're coming up to Pawritta A. So you're straightening the left leg. You're lifting the right knee. And then you're gonna push out through the right foot. Now this may be all you can handle. If your hamstrings are tight, you might be able to straighten it all the way out. Lift the crown of the head up. Focus and breathe. Exhale, release. Lower. All right. We're gonna do something we haven't done in a while. I learned this from Tom at Sanctuary years and years ago. Hands to prayer. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, fold straight in, Uttanasana. Now, in this instant, you may need to bend the knees to take that peace mudra again around the right big toe. So you're lacing the first two fingers around it. Your left hand's gonna come back to your left side waist. Now, what helps me here is not locking in the left leg. I'm just giving you a little trick here. What helps me is having a little bend in the knee, because then I can transfer the weight to that foot and bring the right foot with me, because we're coming back to Pawritta A. So I know your head was down, so it looked like this. And again, the knee can be bent. Going right back down. No, that's not easy. But now pour over to Uttanasana. Let your left foot spread back out in case it was clenching up. All right, hands around the waist, both sides. Lengthen out through the torso, come all the way up to center. Keep smiling. I know this is not easy stuff. All right, when you're ready, second 10 on your left leg. Lift your right knee. And then stretch out through the right leg. Pawritta Tanasana deep. We're going to slowly skate it back, and this is where you may need blocks. Because once we hinge over, we're going to release the hands to the floor or blocks to stabilize. We're going to continue to hinge and pour over the left leg, but we're scissoring the right leg skyward. When you're ready, walk the hands forward or come to the fingertips. As the head and heart lifts, the right leg will lower. Slowly come up. Take your right leg over your left. Pawritta. Hands to prayer. We're going to leave the arms out today. Now, if you want to work on more balance, go for it. Kimberly's like, I'm in. I quit doing it like 5 years ago. And then look at your knees. Make sure one's not crossing way beyond. They should be pointed fairly straight ahead. And then slowly come up. Woo, walk it out. Okay, I'm ready for that second side. I don't regret coming today for first chakra. First chakra is really one of the most important ones to focus on. If that's imbalanced, it's going to affect all the others up the chain. Okay. Broaden the base of your right foot. We're going to come down with the left ankle crossed on top. Right hand to waist, peace moja around left big toe. You're ready, straighten the right leg, bring the left foot with. Push up through the heel slightly or more dramatically. All right, we're gonna come forward, bring it up, take it down, okay? Hands to heart. Put the arms overhead. Fold to Uttanasana. Right hand to waist, left fingers lace around. Ready, bring it with you. We have to bring our past with us, whether we like it or not. We have to work through our obstacles, work through our blockages in order to grow, survive, and thrive. Uttanasana. Hands to the waist, lean out with the crown of your head, bring the back of the heart all the way up. All right, last one. When you're ready, bending and lifting the left knee. Taking it out, Pawritta deep. We'll hinge it back like we did earlier, except this time we're tipping forward and scissoring the legs more apart. When you're ready, gently build the head up, come to the fingertips, hands stacked to the waist. You can bring the leg out in front, for crisscrossing it over. Prayer, Pawritta legs. You can balance even more if you feel that desire. This choice, but remember this affirmation: at the center of my storms, I choose to remain calm and serene. That's hard to do when our foundation has been shattered. We're finding that in society right now. Slowly come up. Right, now I'm going to the floor. Lift the arms up. Lift your heels up. All right, see if you can slowly crumb down, snap, crackle, pop to toe balance. Maybe hands to prayer. Stretching out the feet. Fascia of the feet. If you've never been able to look at a reflexology mount of the feet and the hands, you should take a look at it. It's incredible. All right, we're gonna lean forward. Take the knees down. If you need to keep leaning forward, that's okay. If you need to lean forward, but you're sitting up halfway, that's okay. If you can erect the spine fully, that I'm not gonna make you hold it terribly long. This is tough. If I come ready to mount. I have buttons. It's like, nah. All right, slowly untuck the toes. At the top. Turn. Instead of letting the heels flop out, turn the heels so they're parallel. And then see if you can sit back on the heels to hero pose. Again, we're not going to stay here terribly long either, because I know this is a lot for the ankles and for the knees. Lean forward, flatten your palms, and you're going to step it back to downward facing dog. And from downward facing dog, we're going to take 3 full breaths. Breathing in. Breathing out. 2 more slow, conscious, controlled breaths. When you're ready, inhale, fly your heels up higher. Exhale, descend your knee down. You're gonna keep your toes curled, okay? This is a segment that's really focused on the bottoms of the feet. The arms will slide out, just like you would manage in your extended child's pose. The head may or may not have contact to the floor. Don't worry about that. The emphasis here is on the feet. My teacher, they would not use this in India, I'm sure. I think this is an American term. But my teacher used to do this, and her teachers used to be out of Santa Barbara. She used to call this version of extended child pose Mecca. Because of the way the toes are curled, it's very reminiscent of the Islamic community when they get on their prayer rug to pray. And I created this affirmation for this pose. In the early days of teaching yoga, so affirm mentally within our prayers for all of mankind to live in harmony and in peace. Send this out to the places that are most afflicted right now. Our prayers for all of mankind to live in harmony and peace. Slowly come on. Oh my God. That was intense. Come around your legs. We're gonna do a supine twist, then we get to relax. Can I give you a choice? I like choices. Seem to be having a lot of choices, either given or taken these days. So I'm gonna be giving and giving and giving choices to keep that going. So your choice. I needed more space, which is why I came off of that. One choice is to do this twist where the legs are crisscross. Now, if you keep the foot on the floor, it's going to be less of a twist versus if you float the feet and tuck the knees in more. Your other twist option is to take the legs straight and stacked over to the left side for alligator pose. So choose one. The twisted roots with the legs crossed, or alligator with the legs moving to the left, straight and stacked. So even though obviously they're primarily focused on the twist, we're incorporating some work with the legs as well today. Think about if we get this first chakra really nice and balanced and operating to its best capacity, it's only going to contribute to the energy flowing upstream. If we have excessive energy in this field, we have heaviness, we're sluggish, we can battle obesity, greed, and materialism. If we are deficient in this energy field, we can become fearful, undisciplined, underweight, spacey, and restless. When you're ready, go ahead and inhale, draw the legs through center,
And as you exhale, take them over to the right. If you take them to the right, you'll uncross and recross the legs the other way. If you do twisted roots, that's right, Frank. And then if you're doing alligator, the legs can be straight and flat. I know Stephanie, Kimberly, and Barbara have heard me say this many times because they've been with me this whole past year, probably more than most of you, but the impact that moving and closing the business and then having to move the stuff from the business and all the stuff that happened with first chakra stuff, on top of everything that the earth has been going through and that our society has been going through as a whole, got me so mangled in my first chakra that I was in so much pain in 2020. I finally went to see a chiropractor at the beginning of this year, and he said, your whole pelvis is twisted. It was literally twisted. And so for the last 6 months, I've been seeing a chiropractor, I've been seeing a massage therapist, I've been doing my yoga, and they keep saying, your yoga is helping you bounce back. Don't stop your yoga. It's nothing you did in yoga. This is life affecting your body. And they're basically telling me the same thing that I already know and that I'm sharing with you here while you're on the mat. Life is going to show up in the body. How is all this impacting you? It may be your first chakra, it may be your second, it may be a combination of many. And that's why this series is going to be so important. Draw the legs back to center. And I'm going to give you a choice. You can lay out in corpse pose exactly where you are and just continue to take up the space as is, or you can slide your mat over and do legs at the wall. Since we focused a lot on legs today, they might appreciate that. Plenty of wall space here. You can even come to the front wall if you don't want to move to the back. And don't feel compelled to do it. You know, you may just want corpse pose. Earlier this week, I was mentioning in Shavasana to breathe in and to picture a beam of bright red light shining down the spine and setting aglow the lower body with this ray, this color. We even ended our practice chanting the mantra of Lam, the root sound for the root chakra. But today I want you to be contemplative about something a little different. Chakra means disc or wheel. And I want you to consider how, I know we don't use floppy disk anymore, but it's not that old. You know, our technology has advanced, but we're all old enough to remember floppy disks. The floppy disk contained all the programming. The computer was the hard drive, and you were the user. Think about the first chakra being the floppy disk. Your body being the hardware. The chakras being the software, and yourself as the user. The first chakra contains your survival programming, telling us when we need to eat, what we need to eat, how many hours to sleep, when to sleep, when and how to do things,
how much money we need to earn, how much money we need to spend or save, what we are willing to do for the money, what constitutes a threat for our survival, and how would we react to it, as well as what makes us feel secure. And now that you've heard about the programming held in this first chakra, consider, is there anything you need to rewrite in your programming? Are there any bugs or viruses that you need to get rid of? Is there any editing you need to do here? But the first thing that comes to your mind be the answer. And instead of dwelling on the answer or staying contemplative or analytical about the question, as soon as you receive a download of an answer, let it go. Now you know. That's all you need to do right now. And then go back into your breath work, back into being in your placement here, acknowledging you have the right to be here, the right to occupy the space. Just breathe. Bring life and exhale sound. Take that as your cue to open up the channel of your breath even more.
Since you're spaced out, try sliding the legs wide open. Be here for 3 breaths. Bend the knees and slide the feet down the wall. Roll over to your right side. Acclimate here first. Slowly come up to take a seat. Put palms on your lap. We all remember the importance of staying grounded within ourselves. We all recognize the importance of checking in with our own programming to see when, if, or where it needs to be edited, rewritten, so that we can learn not just to root, but to rise, to grow, to survive, to thrive. Join your hands together for prayer. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So I could really do like a 7-week series on the first chakra, not giving so much information in the beginning. I was trying to give you a little, different information. There was a little overlap from Monday to today. But if you want to I'm trying to keep it somewhat simplistic and digestible. But if any of this speaks to you and you want to dive deeper, this book is amazing. And this is going to be a required reading for Stephanie and I are doing the 300-hour teacher training. So in our initial 200 teacher training, we talk about chakras, but we go over the basics, like this is the color, this is what it governs, this is the mantra, this is the mudra, it's kind of the basic thing. This is going to be a deeper dive. And I know some of you don't care about being a teacher, or some of you are trained to be teachers and you like gaining the knowledge. This is an excellent book, Eastern Body, Western Mind. And I love it because it's the psychology of the chakra system. And she goes through each one and she talks in detail about the trauma and what can happen and why it's important to do the inner work so that you are spiritually evolving, so that you are emotionally and mentally capable of evolving, past whatever may have wanted to study your growth in the past. But this is excellent. She mentions that some of the addictions that can come about because of trauma with the first chakra is alcoholism, as well as eating disorders. Because it's about, eating disorders is also third chakra. It's interesting. We'll move into the second chakra next week. That's about pain and pleasure. That tends to be more heroin addiction. It all makes sense if you study energetic anatomy and then you recognize like, oh, right, they're trying to numb out. They don't want to feel pain or pleasure really. And then I think third chakra, it's a food. Food can be the addiction. It's also, I believe, I have to look it up again, but I think it's cocaine for the third chakra, right? Because it keeps you moving. Fourth chakra, the lungs, I believe is marijuana. For the third eye, I think it's psychedelics. Not that there's really addictions to that. Most people don't get addicted to psychedelics. Most people use psychedelics to explore and to open up the third eye and to see like what trances and visions they can get. And they typically use it for some type of growth or epiphany or light bulb moment or I don't know. I mean, I know ayahuasca is used, I think, in many parts over the world, but it's being used for addiction purposes. through shamans and through psychologists. I think even mushrooms now, I saw an article and I sent it to my mom, it's too late for my dad, but they've been experimenting with stroke patients. And if they can catch a stroke patient early on, a low dosage, I'm not saying you're tripping, but a low dosage of mushrooms, they're learning can help with the ramifications of a stroke, which is huge. It's like now they're finally looking at this plant as being medicine, not just in the mental space, but what can it do for the brain? What can it do for a medical situation like that, which is kind of fascinating. Anyway, I'll stop talking now.